I'm on the college campus and people like, man, I watched that little short film you did.
Yeah.
I seen you, man. Like that was good, man. Good writing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can work on your acting, but you know, it was.
And at the top, people are really collaborating. They're not competing with each other.
They're not competing at the top. They collaborate.
They're all working together, so they're going to help you. Like a successful person is going to help you because they want to see more people be successful.
And everything that may look good probably, you know, ain't good always.
All that glitters is not
even
gold.
as positive I am, sometimes I'll be like, I'm a little sad today.
Hey, and that's life, right?
That's life.
That's life. Every day is not a good day, but we keep going, right?
We keep going.
All right, welcome back to the Between the Winds podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Green, and today I have a guest from college, Brandon Todd.
Yeah, that is me. That is I. So glad to be here, you know.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's about to be a good time.
Yeah,
a lot of good conversation.
Yes.
Like I said, we just chilling at home on the couch, you know, hanging out. We hanging out. That's what we're doing. We just vibing.
Well, Brandon, let the people know, like, what do you do? Like,
so me, I am a full-time entrepreneur.
mm-hmm.
And it's a little mix that comes with that. So I would say my specialty is digital marketing. I enjoy writing and telling stories and being creative, whether that's for a brand or myself, because I create content as well.
Mm-hmm.
My content usually is based around, you know, silly stuff because I'm, you know, missing a leg, obviously, or something inspirational, or just something, you know, storytelling wise. But that's usually how my content goes, and I usually help other individuals do that too for their brand. Or if I'm personally partnering with a company, I could put together something. So yeah,
you could put together a lot, because I will say that I know you put together some commercials for me, people are still asking me about those, and they came out real good. You came up with the concepts, and all of that.
Yeah, I just enjoy writing. That's why I just say entrepreneur. But if I had to say a specialty, it would be writing, because that's what I enjoy doing, creative writing. So yeah.
Yeah, creative writing. So if you need some creative, you know, writing.
Yeah, some input, some creative direction or something, you know, let me know. We can put something together for you.
Okay, well let's like talk about how you even got into creative writing. Like, how did you decide that was something that you wanted to do?
So for me, Rachel, I started growing up. I played sports. And I really thought my entire life, as short as I am, that I was going to be a professional athlete. And I would say semi-athletic, but I discovered once I got into high school that I enjoyed theater. And I noticed that even before high school, I was always the center of attention. So I was the one telling the stories in a creative way, and I would even exaggerate the stories. And then I knew it was some sort of creative to me. And so I went into acting. And so throughout high school, I did acting, and I became a thespian, which is when you...
Thespian society. I remember that. I did that.
Yeah, when you do so many hours of acting, you know, being on stage, you become a thespian. So I did that, and it was fun. I went on to take acting classes. And then in college, I started writing. And crazy enough, I didn't think I liked writing. Because in school, the things that I had to write, I'm like, I don't really like this. But I discovered once I got to college that I enjoyed writing, but in a creative format, like storytelling, and putting something out there in an inspirational way, a silly way, having a plot twist that someone didn't expect. I just really enjoyed that. So I started writing, and in my spare time, I would write skits, I would write poetry, I would write songs and stuff. And I don't rap, I don't sing, I don't do poetry, but I just really enjoyed the writing. And so after, you know, doing that in college and writing skits and things of that nature, of course, because I am creative and I enjoy creative writing, I opened a couple of businesses, which we may touch back up on that. And I had a few businesses operating for a few years, and I closed them down, and I wanted to solely focus on this creative writing thing. And so, yeah, that's the
That's the mini background.
Yeah, that's the mini background of that,
Okay, so we both went to Columbus State in Columbus, Georgia.
Absolutely.
Shout out to CSU.
CSU, yeah, Team CSU.
I know, right? But in college, you said that this is when you kind of started all this storytelling, like learning about, the creative writing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything specific that you remember in your time at Columbus State that made you like, oh, yeah, I need to specifically do this? Or is there anything that made you like pivot into a certain direction that you learned there?
Well, I know just from putting skits together, and even before content creating or the creators economy was a thing, I used to low-key create content. And I used to, put together different skits and stuff, and I would write, and I started writing short films and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we would film them and I'd shoot them, and I'm like, this stuff is pretty good. I used to post on YouTube. I'm talking like, I'm showing my age right now, but like 15 years ago, I was posting on YouTube, getting like thousands and thousands of views. I used to do parodies and stuff like that, where, if you all don't know what a parody is, you take a popular song and you recreate it and you pretty much make it silly for the most part. Yeah. And I used to write stuff like that, and I knew then, I said, this is my lane, because I would get feedback in real time. It wasn't really like, oh, I'm posting and everyone is on YouTube or Instagram saying, hey, this was great. Like, I'm on the college campus and people like, man, I watched that little short film you did. Yeah. I seen you, man. Like, that was good, man. Good writing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can work on your acting, but it was this story.
I do remember you writing. I remember this.
Me and Kamali, we used to do some stuff,
Shout out to him.
Shouts out to Kamali.
We need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we need to. So we used to do stuff, and man, I realized then, I said, man, I really can do this if I just lock in on it. But of course, life takes you in different directions, the ones you don't expect sometimes, but it's always what's needed. So
yeah, that's a good perspective to have. And you also mentioned that you started, a few businesses and then you decided to close them and move in a different direction. But what was the first business that you started?
The first official business, let me say that, because I was cutting grass in high school, middle school and high school to make a little.
Hey, that's a business though.
to make a little change. I had my neighbor. I said, hey, come on, let's cut a few grass. We charging $30 and $40. That adds up over a few yards when you in middle and high school. Mm-hmm. So, but officially, I had to do a business plan senior year of college, of my college year, and I want to say it was either my small business management class or my entrepreneurship class, one or the other. I can't quite remember, but I did a business plan just for fun on a clothing brand, and I end up saying, what if I really got into this whole fashion thing? And so I look back at the business plan. I said, man, I'm gonna be honest, I was just trying to get this grade, but let me go back and really put together some structure within this plan that I created. And I did that, and I started my own fashion brand, and that took probably about a year to two of just brainstorming the logo, the name, how I wanted my brand identity to be perceived. All of that took about a year to two. And in 2017, I officially dropped. I had a release party, and I was selling shirts out of my apartment and hats.
And if I remember correctly, it was called The Mind Clothing, right?
The Mind Clothing.
Yeah, because I still have some hats and stuff that I wear from there.
Yeah, you probably got some OG stuff.
I do. I got the OG stuff.
I ended up, I may be jumping the gun, but I ended up opening a store a few years later, for the brand too, and I had the store for a few years, but I closed it down 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
So what made you come up with the name The Mind Clothing? Like, what does that mean to you?
To me, because even in college, I was always this, even before, losing my leg, because I don't want people to think like, oh, his leg has been gone for so long, so people has viewed him as an inspiration. No, the way I mentored young men, the way I led organizations, the way I, kept myself, even when it came to the way that I dressed, the way that I spoke, everything in its entirety, just made me this little positive ball. And I've always been, positive, smiling, happy, energetic. And so when I was thinking of a brand, I said, I want to think about something that's relatable to who I am. I want to think about something that when you wear it, you feel that good energy, you feel that positive reinforcement. You spark up a conversation to somebody, to where they can relate or they can be moved by, how the brand is perceived. And through all of that, that's how I came up with the name. I wanted to keep it simple but meaningful.
And you mentioned about like losing your leg, and you said you had that business before.
Yes.
And you said that you don't want people to assume that, that business was related to, what occurred.
After the fact. I will be honest. I launched the business in 2017. I lost my leg in 2019. So if anything, me losing my leg and people still seeing how I documented my journey of going to the gym, of learning how to walk again, of just kind of really restarting, especially physically, a lot of things over. People utilize that as an enhancement to the brand. So it made the brand even more powerful because it's like, oh man, he had this brand in mind, but it really gained a lot of popularity through me losing my leg and still doing this brand, because it's like he's really living the brand now.
Yes.
Like at first he was talking about it and he had people wearing it, but he's living it now. He's went through something really traumatic and he's still living his life. So
yeah, and that's one thing I can say about you from knowing you since I think 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, we came in the same year.
You always been positive and had good energy, and I feel like if anything, you become more positive and you have a brighter light, now than it was bright before. But I feel like as you've grown as a person over time, it's just become brighter and brighter. And you can't say that about a lot of people,
I would say what you're saying is very true. And it is true because when I went through this traumatic situation, I told myself that you now have a second chance at life. So don't take anything for granted. If anything, everything in you has been elevated. Your happiness, your positivity, your well-being, your way of thinking, everything is on another level. Like everything now is God-given times 2. Wow. So it's like you better take full advantage of this, and really that's how I've been keeping the momentum going. I just like, man, it's another chance at this. I'm better. It's not like I'm back and I'm better. Like I'm back and I'm better. I'm back and I'm better. Like I'm me who I was before times 2.
And that's a very positive mindset to have. Like a lot of people can take away from that. I know I can. Like, and I know when you walk in a room and you bring in positive energy, it definitely pushes into other people. And inspires other people as well,
That's what I'm about, because my thing is you never know what people are going through. Everything that's going on isn't happening externally.
Yeah.
Some things are happening to people internally, and you'll never know unless you speak, whether if it's in a verbal way or nonverbal communication. That's how you pretty much find out what's going on with people.
And that's why I'm so glad that you are coming on this podcast, because it's called the Between the Wins podcast, and it's about the stuff that people don't see in the seasons before you win, and just things that people are dealing with that you just wouldn't know. And you said that you had to learn how to re-walk. Can you explain like how that felt? How long did that take? What was the process like?
Yeah, that was so odd. I tell you, when my accident happened in 2019, it was a motorcycle accident. Of course, I am a super helpful individual, as you know. I gives, and so in the moment that the accident happened, I was actually trying to help another motorcycle rider. He was on the side of the road. I was passing him, and I was just trying to get off the shoulder of the HOV lane so I could go back and help him. But before I could get off the shoulder, a car hit me from behind and drug me down the highway. And that resulted in me going to the hospital for about 6 weeks. In the first week, they tried to save my leg, but then they realized, it's damaged too bad. Like we just can't save it. And we've talked to all these plastic surgeons, these different doctors at multiple hospitals across the country. It's just, we got to amputate your leg. And so once they amputated it, of course, I had to wait about, I started doing, what is it called? Occupational therapists. I started working with them because they're the ones who are more mobility and like moving from your bed to the seat or, using the restroom. And so I started learning all of those things while I was in the hospital. And then I went to inpatient therapy, and it was a continuation of those things, and along with physical therapy. And I did that for 3 weeks. And then when I got home, I had to wear a shrinker on my residual limb for, I say probably about 2 months. And then after that, I got sized for a prosthetic, a socket. First, you get sized for a socket so they can know how to fit it, because everyone's leg is unique. Whether if your accident was traumatic, it was a cancerous or whatever, everybody's leg, is a little different in shape and size. And so once I got fitted, I got the leg and I put it on, Rachel, and I'm gonna be honest, it was the oddest feeling ever. I literally I did like if I had a wooden leg or something, if I was a pirate, how they like walk wobbly side to side, I pretty much did that. And I'm supposed to be bending my leg at this point, and I wasn't bending it, and I'm just like, this is odd. So I kind of went home that day, and I want to say I left the leg at the clinic, and I just told them, just let me go back home, let me come back probably a week later, and let me debrief.
Yeah,
like this is a lot, and so I came back and I started going to outpatient therapy, physical therapy, and eventually about 6 to 8 months later, I was walking without any canes or a walker or anything. But before then, to build myself up, my confidence and whatnot, I would use a cane and or a walker or whatever I needed, or crutches, while I had on the prosthetic. But eventually, I was like, I need to get rid of this because I want my gait to look as normal as possible, not for the sake of shame, but for the sake of betterment. Like I just want to be better. Like why not? So yeah.
And so I've been on your social media. I know you ride bikes, you hike, you run. You said, so it took you eight to 9 months to learn?
About 6 to 8 months to get it down packed without any assistance.
That's with the running and the walking, or just the walking part? No,
that's just the walking. Running is a whole nother story.
Well, tell us
so,
what's the story. We want to know.
Running is you need a blade. That's what they call it.
Okay.
It's the, little tink, because that's how it sounds once you're running. But you need that, and the blade at the bottom of it has like a foot on it. It's like a rubber piece that they clamp to the bottom of it. And basically, as you're running, you have to, I have a stumble recovery on this knee. The knee of the running prosthetic, there's none of that. If you are running and it goes back, you out of here.
Oh,
you falling.
Wow.
You falling. So which is why when I was learning, I would lock it so that it wouldn't bend like this. I would do what they call circumduct. So when I stepped forward on my right foot, my left foot, I would swing it out, and then I would land on pretty much the ball of or the tip of my running prosthetic. And I would continue to do that. And then after a while, I started learning how to unlock it and just run, but I would do it really slow. But yeah, I still fall. I'll probably fall to this day if I put it on.
Wow.
Because it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, especially with me because I'm an above the knee amputee. Because there's different levels to being an amputee. Okay. So you have below the knee, which is self-explanatory. You amputate below the knee. Above the knee is, of course, above your knee. And then you have something else called, I think it's hip disarticulation. And that's for individuals who technically can't wear a socket. They can, but they have to also have like a brace or something around them because their leg is amputated so far up that they can't wear a normal socket. They have to get like this custom designed piece to like basically wrap around their waist, and it's even more difficult for them when it comes to walking. Yeah.
Oh wow. So during this time where you're learning how to walk, you're learning how to use the socket, and how do you stay positive? Like what kept you going? Like
for me, I meditate. I'm always, looking for ways to enhance my happiness. So one of those things for me is like creative writing, solitude too. Just, sometimes just, being away from everything and everybody and being in your own thoughts with no music, no TV, just complete silence, because a lot of times we don't allow our thoughts to really, we'll be in our head, but then we're like, let me play some music. Let me watch this TV show. Let me call my friend. Like sometimes you just got to really live it, really journal down those thoughts and really see where your own mind can take you and what you can really get a grasp of from yourself, like learning from yourself, healing yourself, or whatever you want to call it. But things of that nature, just, being prayed up and just knowing that there's better and that I got this. Self-talks, like, may sound crazy, but talking to yourself, you got to let yourself know this going to be all right. Like, and you got this. And your journey is not like anybody else's journey. So don't be looking saying, oh, he can do this or they can do that. I don't care. It's you versus you. So, just kind of really locking in with that mindset and just having breath. Let me just start like there. I can breathe. Whatever I have to alter in my life, so what? I got breath. And so that alone for me just, really helped me through the process of, getting through walking or learning how to walk again and stuff.
And I also noticed from your social media that you also work with other amputees, like in the community, kids. How has that helped you, like, on your healing journey, like working with others that are similarly, have like a similar outlook on it?
It always put things into perspective for me and bring me back to ground zero. Let me explain. Let's say you've been in business for 10 years and you've, accumulated all of this success. It sometimes could be hard for you to look at what year one was like. Because you've done so well over 10 years. It's like once I'm here, this is all I know. But once you come back down here and you start looking someone in their eyes and talking to them and seeing what they go through and how they go through it and their outlook and their lifestyle, it keeps you grounded. Yeah. And so that's what working with others have really done for me, especially when they're youths, like these little people. You're 7 years old, you're 9 years old. You got to go through this for the rest of your life. This happened to me as an adult after college. And I knew how, difficult it was to just overcome and how I had to really challenge myself. A 7-year-old? A 9-year-old? Like, it gets deep. So pretty much anytime I receive a phone call about, hey, this youth lost their leg, or hey, could you come do this? It's like, okay, I'm coming. If I'm available, I'm coming. Can we rechange that? Can we reschedule that? Because I want to be there, And I'm only one person, but I try to be there as much as I can, even with older individuals, like adults, my peers and stuff. It's the same thing. I've done plenty of calls and chats and, community related things.
Yeah, and I think you do a great job at that.
I literally I do my best. I put, no pun intended, I put my best foot forward.
Yeah, I think you do an excellent job at that, because you know, we all want to see ourselves in others, you know, especially when you're looking for like mentorship or guidance, like to see someone else in the same situation or a similar situation and they're living a great life and they're positive, that really does help people. So you should really commend yourself for doing that.
Yeah,
I
applaud myself because I really pour into those individuals. And it started literally probably 3 to 6 months after I was removed from inpatient therapy. I was going before, because this was 2019. So before COVID, I was going to different clinics and speaking to individuals who had just became amputees or were on their way to becoming amputees. Wow. Giving them talks, putting things into perspective for them, because they see me walking like, well, he can walk. And I like take my leg off and get on crutches and show them like what happens at home, and just really putting things into a reality for them. Yeah.
And in your perception, it can be a reality. You know, it's reality a lot of times for people. It's what you think. You know, is what you end up
a lot believing. Of this stuff be in your head, so you gotta sometimes get out of that head for a minute and stop being so hard on yourself. Like the world is already gonna come at you as it is with everything that you do. So why not, you know, give yourself some grace?
Grace, yeah, that's important. Yeah, give grace to others and yourself, right?
And yourself, yeah.
What is your definition of success now versus what it was maybe in 2017 when you first decided, you know, I want to start businesses and companies? Like, what did you think success was then versus what it is now to you?
It probably was similar then. For a good minute, success for me has always, well, not always, but for a good amount of time at this point, has been about you getting the most out of life for you. Whatever's bringing you happiness. It's not about a dollar amount. If you're comfortable and you're making $30,000 a year and you can take care of your family or yourself, and you can travel, you can still do what you need to do. And let's say you're a pre-K teacher, I don't know. That is success. You know, people get so caught up in chasing a dollar that they forget about like their own values and morals, and forget about compassion and kindness and just what life is really about, you know. And so success for me is like I said, if you enjoy doing what you're doing, no matter the dollar amount, if it fulfills you, if it makes you happy, if you're evolving, and however that looks for you, you're successful.
Hey, that's a word.
Like, you are successful.
Do you think that you have decided that success is, you know, happiness at this point? Like,
yeah, pretty much. For me, yeah, success. Yeah, success pretty much equates to happiness, because at the end of the day, when you're doing something, and I hope this is not received the wrong way, but what's the point of doing what you do if it don't make you, like, let's say if you make $100 million a year, but you are so unsatisfied with your life, you so miserable, you don't have any friends, you're not kind to people, you just a butthole, like doesn't that have to suck? Yeah. Like, yeah, you got that money, but you about to go travel and you can't talk to nobody because you mean, you can't take nobody with you because you don't have friends. Like, that just gotta suck. That's just like being born into a world where nobody lives but you.
Wasn't that a movie?
A movie, I think.
With Will Smith?
Will Smith, yeah.
It wasn't.
Like
he was
just
the
him
only
and
one
that
in the
dog.
movie. Him and the dog.
Like,
yeah.
So that has to suck. I would rather bring in comfortably $100,000 a year and have good friends, good family, travel, live the life that I enjoy, and do the things that I enjoy, and be cool with that, than have $100 million and be the opposite.
So how does that mindset translate into your brand and your entrepreneurship when you're working with other companies and other brands? How does that outlook translate into your business?
I say this. Do what you enjoy, what brings you happiness. But I had a thought a couple of days ago. And this thought was, maybe it's not even related to your question, but I feel somehow it'll tie into it.
Okay.
I had this thought that sometimes people, when they're making more money, it's not the simple fact of they trying to make more money or they're chasing more money. It's the fact that if I've been making $100,000 for the last 2-3 years, and then on the 5th year I'm making like $200,000, it's not because I had this goal of like, let me make this $200,000, but because I've increased my resources. Maybe I'm more skilled at what I do, so maybe someone is offering me more amount of money to do something, for example, then maybe me accumulating more financial wealth could just be because of that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not chasing the money, but my resources and, you know, the people around me and my investments are growing and the opportunities around me are coming like that. Then I would have been cool with my 100K, but now it's increased to 300 because my knowledge have grown, you know, my resources have grown. And so it's just kind of like, it just had naturally happened. It was organic. It wasn't a chase.
Yeah, and organic in the sense that you put out the positive energy and the good things, eventually it comes back around to you, right?
Absolutely. And I know your question was about, because I don't feel like I touched on your question.
It's okay.
I just had this thought, but the question was about...
how does it translate to your brand and your company, how you work with other companies? And
Well, first off, I'm always, regardless, going to charge my worth. Yeah. And since this podcast is about between the wins, let's talk about, like, before you create something successfully, like let's say if I'm working with a brand and we're doing a partnership, before I create something successful for this brand, you have to think about, when I say my worth, what all has to go in it behind the scenes. I got to come up with this concept, write it out. I got to film it. I got to edit it. I may have to color it, the sound, someone to film it for me if I don't film it myself. Just re-strategizing once something doesn't go right, or you have to take this out or do this. It's so many moving parts. The time that it takes is you may think like, whew, that probably took him like 30 minutes, an hour. But you think about it, he's been working on it for the past 7 days, an hour, 2 hours a day. Like, this took a whole half of a work week, so
a lot of that social media reels, like, it could take that 30 seconds, take a whole week to film,
it's
edit.
A lot that goes into it. If you had to record, you got to, get in your closet or your bathroom, something soundproof, and then you got to, reduce and alter that noise, and then you got to look for, free sounds, or, you have to. I created my own sound the other day on BandLab. I created a sound. Like, I went and played with the instruments and created a sound for a partnership. So it's so many things that are always happening. So when it comes to me and my brand, I have to know like what my expertise is and what makes sense for where I'm at in that moment. Because what they say, yesterday's price
is not today's
price.
Well, speaking of that, I know you mentioned brand deals. Is there some advice that you could give someone that's listening on how to get brand deals? Because I hear this all the time. Like, people are like, I want to get a brand deal, but nobody's talking about how you really get a brand deal.
I would say this: create the content first. People be in their head too much. People are striving for perfection and not execution.
Oh, wow.
Way too much. Like, you're trying to get the best quality sound, the best. Do what you can do and put yourself out there. And when you do, stop acting like, I'm not tagging them. This, da-da-da. They ain't paying me. I ain't showing. Man, look, you got 2,000 followers. Tag them folks. They might like something unique that you're doing. Mm-hmm. They might want to work with you. I've got a brand deal that way. I'm already utilizing the product. Why not tag them and say, hey, let's put something together. Mm-hmm. Let's work. Whether if you're a micro influencer or, mega million, whatever, make it work. Right. But first, put yourself out there, get out your head and get onto the paper. On the screen, rather.
That just reminded me of a quote that I have in my office, is that done is better than perfect.
Absolutely. 100% of the time.
Yeah. Sometimes we strive to be perfect when you just need to get it done. And then you can learn as you go and perfect it and get better over time. But if you don't start at all, then you don't have anything, Exactly.
That's why they say the B and C players are always, outdoing the A players. Now, I'm not giving any advice that don't go make A's, but I'm saying that because the B and C players probably aren't trying to be so perfect. They just like, let me get it done to the best of my ability. So
yeah, and that's a good perspective to have, because I think a lot of times, I know I've done that in the past where I've been like, oh my gosh, it has to be perfect. It needs to be like this. But necessarily, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to get done.
It just has to get done, because if you're trying to be perfect, you'll never get it done.
Yeah.
We have been perfect since the day we were born.
Exactly. Perfect really doesn't exist, right?
So why you trying to, you've been making mistakes at 1 and 2 and 8 and 12 and 13. Mm-hmm. Why you trying to be, we grown now. Why you still trying to be, that's over with.
Yeah, and you just learn a different way of, this way didn't work, let me try something else.
Let me try this way.
Yeah.
You can always, like I said, you can always go back and alter something later. Mm-hmm. You'll spend the rest of your life trying to make this one thing the best thing. You think, certain people, Spike Lee would have ever made the amount of movies he would have made if he would have just been so focused on that one movie the whole time? Imagine somebody right now sitting on an invention like, nah, because that's similar to, so what?
Yeah.
Because when it comes out in 5 years and somebody did it and you seen they sold it for $50 million, now you're looking crazy.
Yeah, and then that also, I was talking to someone else about like the idea of, someone's already done that. But you go to the grocery store and you see 100 waters. You go to the grocery store, you see 100 breads. You go to the grocery store, you see 100 cereals. All of those cereals are on the shelf. People are buying them. Like, there's space for you for whatever it is you want to do. You don't have to worry about the fact that it's oversaturated. And at the top, people are really collaborating. They're not competing with each other.
They're not competing at the top. They collaborate.
They're all working together. So they're going to help you. Like, a successful person is going to help you because they want to see more people be successful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's enough out here for everybody.
Yes.
So if you think about something, put your own unique twist on it. Mm-hmm. They say nothing is new under the sun.
Yeah.
So guess what? What that mean? Everybody at this point copying and pasting, not necessarily, but they everybody just putting a twist on something. Mm-hmm. That's exactly why I got a patent pending right now, but I can't talk about it.
Well, we will make sure that you get back on the podcast.
I'm gonna get back on the pod once
that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Brandon. I really
Hold on, we got to be done already.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to have a part two. It seems like
we need. A part 2 is definitely in the works already.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always.
Now I got to look in the camera. If she don't have me back on, y'all heard it here first that she said I was gonna have a part 2. So if I don't, just know we gonna be wrecking some stuff.
He will have a part 2, I promise.
I appreciate you, Rachel, and I appreciate this little genuine vibe we just had.
Yeah, I appreciate you, being honest and telling, some of your story, because people really need to hear that, especially nowadays. And I think that's the stuff that people don't really talk about. They just want to talk about the wins and the positive part, but it's a period to get to that part. You know?
And everything that may look good probably, ain't good always.
All that glitters is not
even
gold.
As positive I am. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm a little sad today.
That's life, right?
That's life.
That's life. Every day is not a good day, but we keep going, right?
We keep going.
Well, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
My social media is the THE_Brandon Todd. You know, they say once you put the in front of your name, you're official. Like you're really that person. So I think I'm somewhat that person because I'm the_Brandon Todd. As simple as it gets.
All right. Well, I will put Brandon's information in the show notes for y'all. And I appreciate you listening, tuning in, like, subscribe, write us a review. And I'll see y'all on the next episode of the Beyond the Winds podcast.